my name is Becky and welcome to my practice once again. I'm a yoga teacher here in the Cincinnati area and I teach at Shine Yoga and the Kula Center. And today I have a beginner plus class for you. You probably will want to have a chair to help you with balance, a yoga strap or belt or a couple of men's ties connected, 2 blocks, either yoga blocks or boxes. And if you like to sit up on a cushion, you can do that. Maybe a pillow or a folded up towel. Anything will work. You don't need fancy props. Today's class was inspired by, of all things, a t-shirt. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. We are going to be doing warrior poses, and those involve having your hands up over your head. So please be cautious if you have high blood pressure issues. You might want to keep your hands down at your side. That's perfectly okay. If you have any discomfort, back off, and if it persists, go ahead and contact your doctor. With that, let's go ahead and find our seated position. All right, we're going to do our centering in just a moment. So we're going to start right in with our movement. First, we're going to come to a table position, and that's with your wrists right under your shoulder blades or your shoulders. Your feet can be tucked under your toes, and your hips are going to be over your knees. And we're just going to undulate our torso. So at first, I'm going to take my heart and my gaze forward, and I might breathe in this position. And then as I exhale, I'm going to arch my back like a Halloween cat. And we're going to do that a few times, linking the breath with the movement. I was just watching a video talking about breath work and how calming it can be just to be in control of your breath. In yoga, there are a lot of different types of breath that we use to do different things for our body. There's a breath, body, mind connection. And the more aware we are of that, the more we can use it to our benefit. All right, one last exhale on that. Then I'm going to separate my knees wider than my hips and sit back on my heels if that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, I could take one of my blocks or a towel and put it between my hips and my heels, and that might take a little pressure off your knees. Just come down, stretch your arms out in front of you, and your forehead will go towards the mat. Just take a breath here. We're going to take our right hand out to the side, and then we're going to weave it underneath our left upper arm and lay our right shoulder down on the mat. If it will go, don't force it. And here we're going to use our breath again to let our body know that we are safe. Couple more breaths here. Bringing that right arm out front and taking the left hand underneath the right arm, palm up, shoulder blades separating on the back. Really let that left shoulder blade relax down onto the mat if it's at all possible. And be sure to breathe. Coming back forward through your child's pose. Coming up to a seated position. And then we're going to actually sit down. If you like a little support underneath your hips, go ahead and find that. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. And so that's going to have the soles of our feet up against each other. Knees are going to be going out. We're not worried about down as much as we are out. And you can make the angle of this diamond shape here, whatever you want. We are still warming up. So that your hips can relax and feel safe, we're going to put our blocks or rolled up towels, whatever you have, underneath them so they don't feel like they're just hanging, unsure of what's to come. Spine is going to be as tall as possible, crown of the head going up towards the ceiling. And then we are going to start to focus on that breath. So expanding the inhale, expanding the exhale, seeing if you can get them to be an equal number. Could be 2 counts in, 2 counts out, could go to 6 counts in and 6 counts out. Just take it nice and slow, no hurry. And if you're comfortable, maybe closing your eyes. And as you're doing that, I'm going to explain about that t-shirt. There's a famous t-shirt company called Life is Good. I'm sure you've heard of them and maybe even have some of their t-shirts. They were advertising one that said, warrior, not warrior. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be the perfect t-shirt for a yoga teacher? But by the time I got around to trying to order it, it was sold out. So I just turned it into a yoga class. The warrior, he plans, he learns, and he practices. So that when a crisis comes along, when he has to engage in a battle, he is ready. Not easily disturbed, not easily set off balance, focused. And because of that preparation, he can be content, calm, ready. And that's what we want in our lives, whatever kind of battle we're going into. It could be one of the day-to-day battles that we face. It could be an unexpected battle like all the things surrounding the pandemic, or you could really be a soldier. And they need to practice what we're talking about today to be prepared. So if you have your eyes closed, just continue that steady breath. And we'll move through our practice with our warrior poses, preparing us for the days to come so that we don't worry, we don't become anxious or fearful. We know that we're ready for whatever life puts in our path. If you're comfortable with it, please bring your hands together at your heart. Anjali Mudra. We'll exhale fully, inhale deeply, and then utter the sound of Om. If you're more comfortable with just listening, that's fine too. Just keep up with your breath. Exhaling, inhaling, slowly and gently opening your eyes if you close them. Hands to knees. Once again, make sure that spine is as tall as it can be. Lots of room between the vertebrae. We're going to take both hands behind us with our fingers facing away from our seat and just pull our shoulder blades together. Let our chest, our heart open to the front and maybe lift the chin a little bit. Opening up the heart. We all want the heart of a warrior, loyal, devoted. Relax that just a second. We'll open it up once more. Heart forward, chin up. Nice, everybody. All right. You can remove those blocks for now. And we're going to come to our back for a few moments. So moving everything out of the way. You might want to have your strap handy before you go all the way down. Feet can stay standing on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. Just get comfortable there, shoulders on the mat. And we're going to do some hip openers here, leg stretches. So bring your left knee in towards your chest and just hug it nice and tight, like you're giving yourself a hug. Place that foot back down, right knee comes forward towards your chest. The foot is flexed, my muscles are engaged. Yoga is not a practice of just kind of willy-nilly. We are engaged, we are active, linking that breath, body, and mind so that we get full benefit of all three. Let that leg go down, and we're going to bring both knees in towards our chest, and we're going to pretend to be painting circles on the ceiling with our knees. One of those old protractors, if you can remember. Put the pencil in and open it up to draw your circle. And then go ahead and let's circle in the other direction. When you feel like you've got an even number on both sides, we're going to separate the knees and keep the toes touching. And we're going to make a figure 8 up on the ceiling. So I'm going to bring my knees in and then out, moving towards each other and then away from each other, making an 8 on the ceiling. Might be kind of an odd-shaped 8, but that's okay. And then we're going to reverse it. Circling, opening up those hips. Nice. Go ahead and plant the feet back down on the floor. I'm going to take my strap at this point, and I've put a loop at the end. You could just double up and put your foot up here at the top of the strap, whichever one you prefer. But put it around the ball of your foot, not on the arch, and I'm going to extend my leg straight like my foot is standing on the ceiling. If that's a little bit much for you as we warm up, you can take the foot down a little bit closer to the floor, trying to extend the leg as straight as it will go. And maybe if you breathe in and with the exhale, you could bring it a little closer to your chest. Breathe in. With the exhale, bring it a little closer. My foot is engaged and flexed. One last breath. Then I'm going to take my leg, my extended leg, over to the side. And if I want to let that bent knee fall open, it helps to balance and keep my hips even on the mat. I can let mine rest right there on the fireplace. And then bring it back in. And I'm going to extend that bent knee, take the strap in my other hand, and let that extended leg fall to the opposite side. So it's going to involve me coming a little bit over onto my right side of my body. My shoulder, I'm inviting it to stay down on the mat. It might lift a little bit, that's okay, but the goal is to have it moving towards the mat on the left-hand side. Getting a nice, good opening there in these muscles. And then using the strength of your leg, coming back up. You can bend that knee again if you'd like. And we're going to point the left toe towards the right shoulder. It's not a big movement, but you will feel it along the outside of that thigh, the IT band. Foot is engaged. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll bring that foot back. You can remove the strap. And we'll do that all on the other side. So I put my loop around my foot, extend the leg as close to straight as I can get. You don't need to hyperextend that knee at all. But if it doesn't want to come quite perpendicular to the floor, you can take it down a little bit. Maybe use your breath to help it work its way up. And just holding that stretch, stretching out the hamstring back here a little bit. goes into battle unprepared. So we're getting prepared. All right, now we're going to go ahead and open that leg out to the side. If I want to let the bent knee open up a little bit, keeping both hips even on the mat, I can do that. Some of you are more limber than others. So I try to show kind of a middle of the road example of the pose. We're not all going to look like the yogis on the front of Yoga Journal. That's okay. Bringing them both back to center. Extend that bent knee and then roll over to your left side, inviting the right shoulder to stay on the floor and your right leg going over as far as it can. My fireplace hearth is in the way there. But this is fine. I'm getting a good stretch. And more importantly, I'm quieting my mind. I'm linking my breath to my movement. I'm preparing for the battle, whatever it might be. Using the strength of my leg, coming back up, and then I'm going to do that little motion with a lot of effect. So it's engaged. Right toe is pointing towards my left shoulder, and I am feeling that along the outside of my leg. Take it easy, we're just warming up. I know it's unusual to be on your back like this. Kind of a different format today. Go ahead and bend that knee, remove the strap, and we're going to roll over onto our stomach. I'm going to move my position so you can see a little better, but you can just roll over onto your stomach wherever you are. And I'm going to come into a Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx pose, I want my elbows directly underneath my shoulders. My forearms are parallel to each other. My hands and fingers are spread wide, and I'm pressing them actively into my mat. That helps take pressure off my lower back. My tailbone is moving towards my heels. My legs are engaged. This is not just a slack position, okay? My shoulders are reaching up. My elbows are grounding down. Tailbone is going towards my heels. My gaze is just slightly forward of the end of my mat. And I'm getting a nice gentle back bend. From here, I'm going to look to side to see if I can see my feet behind me. Opening up the shoulders, giving the neck a little action. Nice. Then I'm going to come and push myself back, coming into a wide-legged child's pose again, just for a moment or so. Really push my hands forward and really take my tailbone back. Nice, everybody. Now we're going to come into, something on my mat. We're going to come into a table pose, and from here we're going to do some more warm-ups, and we're going to come into our first warrior pose of the practice, and that's going to be Warrior One. Now, for Warrior One, we can do the traditional version with our heel down in the back, or we can do our heel up and more of a high crescent pose. So that's up to you. I'll demonstrate both. But I happen to think the modified version is a little safer for your hips and your sacrum. So, coming to our table pose. Little bit of cat-cow action here again, just a couple, evening everything out. We're going to come into our down dog. Knees can be bent. Hips are going up towards the ceiling. Spine is extended. Ears are between the upper arms. I'm going to lift my right leg. Take that foot as far away from my hip as possible. bend my right knee, turn it out to the right, and maybe twist open a little bit. Keeping the left side of my body steady and firm. Nice and strong. Coming back to three-legged dog. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to bend my standing leg, and I'm going to bring my raised foot through to a high lunge. If it doesn't go all the way on the first try, take your hand and help it forward. We're going to get to the position where our knee is right over our ankle. Now, from here, I can turn my toes on my back leg out a little bit and let my heel rest on the floor. Square my hips forward, coming up. And this would be the traditional warrior one. Arms are raised. Breathing. Now, if I want to lift that back heel, this may be a little bit easier to keep the hips squared this way. Breathing. Upright, strong, and ready. Warrior one. Bring your hands back down to the mat. We're going to bring that back leg forward, coming to our forward fold. This time, we're going to take our right foot back, left foot forward. We're going to double check that our knee is right over our ankle, our hips are square, and you can choose heel down, toes out, or heel up. This is the foot that I had surgery on, so I'm going to keep my heel up. I'm going to get my balance, bringing my hands to my knees, getting strong and steady. If you're having any issues, keep your hands on your hips. Otherwise, arms up. Warrior one, engaged, ready, prepared, breathing. Nice. Coming back down, we're going to plant our hands, take our foot back, coming into down dog again. Make it your best down dog, really pressing that mat away with your front hands. Maybe walk it a little bit. We're going to lift our left leg, bend the knee, open the knee out to the left, and maybe twist and look under your left arm there. Okay. Extend that leg straight. Bring it back down to meet the other. And we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet, coming into a forward fold. And coming up to standing. Nice, everybody. Good job. We made it through our first warrior pose. Let's just close our eyes here. What do you need to do to be prepared in your life, for your life, for any crisis or battle that comes along? Picture yourself doing that preparation. That's the first step in actually making it happen. We're going to do a couple sun salutations. I'll do the first one facing to the side so you can see the action a little better, and then I'll come back to facing forward. Coming to the top of your mat, circle sweep the arms up and overhead. Forward fold, half forward fold, hands back down, place them on the floor, one leg back, the other leg back, coming and holding our plank for just a couple of breaths. building our endurance. When we're in this plank pose, our hands are firmly planted right under our shoulders, arms are straight, and the body from the tip of the crown of the head all the way down to the back of my heels is one long line. Lower the knees. Take the bum back a little bit. We're going to lower our chest and then our chin. Push through, coming into a cobra. And then push ourselves back into down dog. Walking the hands back to the feet. Forward fold, half forward fold, all the way over, and circle sweep the arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. You can stay in your same position. I'm just going to give you a different angle. This time we're going to add a lunge in there, just to vary things up. Circle sweep the arms up and overhead. Bend the knees as much as needed to come into a forward fold. Half forward fold, back extended long, spreading and making room between those vertebrae. Hands back down to the floor. Take your right leg back. And really work here on squaring the hips. That might mean bringing the left hip forward just a little bit, and the right hip and the right heel energetically going back. We're going to bring that back foot forward, coming into our forward fold again. Take the left foot back. Really work on squaring those hips. Double check. Knee is over ankle, not in front of it. And you're breathing. All right, from here, we're going to plant our hands. Take that front foot back, coming into the plank. And once again, building endurance. You can't quit halfway through the battle. Drop the knees, keep the bum up, chest and chin down towards the floor. Pulling through, if you'd like to go all the way up to an up dog, and then back into a down dog. Walk it out a little bit. Hips really up towards the ceiling, spine long. And then walk both feet forward, coming to a forward fold. Bend the knees deeply. Maybe bring the toes a little bit closer together. Bring your palms to your upper thigh, right above the knee there. Extend the spine long. And then you're going to take your hands and lift them, coming to a chair position. Like you were going to sit back down in a chair, but it's not really there. If that's hard for you, go ahead and bring your hands just to your hips, or you can let them rest there on the thighs, but not putting weight on the thighs. Another breath here. And arms up and hands back to heart center. It's warm in here. I haven't turned my air on yet, but I think it's close to 80 degrees outside, which is really nice. All right, I'm going to come off the carpet because that can make balancing poses difficult. We're going to do a tree pose, and if you would like to use the chair for a little bit of support, that's fine. You can put your foot at whatever position you like. Your toes can stay on the floor, or they can lift up, sole of the foot onto the inner calf, or you could bring it all the way up into the groin area. This is my preferred position, and like I said, I try to do the intermediate level. And if you can, bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. Really pressing that left foot down, creating your roots, pressing the sole of my foot into the outer or inner calf, and letting this knee open up to the right. If you want a little more challenge, you could try to close your eyes here for a moment, or lift your arms, let your branches sway in the breeze. Coming back to center. On a tree pose like this, it's really good to have a focal point, a drishti, as we say in Sanskrit. And it does help you to focus. I'm focusing at the camera right now. See how long you can hold it. And when you're ready, bring the knee forward and plant that foot down on the ground. Wiggle it out a little bit. All right, we'll do the other side. So, raised foot in whatever position you would like, toes on the floor, sole of the foot on the inner calf, or up to the groin area. Rooting down with the standing leg, trying not to let this hip jut out to the side at all. Taking the left knee out to the side, pressing the sole of that left foot in to my shin, not my shin, my calf. And focus. I'm looking right at you. Breathing, focusing. One more breath. Bring that knee forward and plant it down. Now we're going to go ahead and do our warrior series. So first thing we're going to do is spread our legs wide. If you'd like to have a block nearby, that would be great. I'm just going to straighten my mat a minute, just a second. Just have it handy when we do our wide-legged forward fold. You can rest your hands on the floor, or if you'd like to bring the floor a little closer to you, the block will work fine for that. So we're going to spread our feet wide apart, toes forward, feet parallel, and get a nice steady position where you feel like you're balanced. We're going to bend the knees, and we're going to take our back forward, rear end's going back towards the fireplace. The top of my crown is going towards the camera. Then I can straighten my legs and let my head fall forward. You can keep your hands on the block, or if they easily rest on the ground, that's fine. Extend that spine long. Really hinge at the hips. Give it a little wiggle if it feels good to do that. Maybe take your heels a little bit farther apart once you get used to the position. One more breath there. Bend your knees slightly. Come on back up. We're going to take our first warrior series to the right. So I'm going to turn my right toes out. My left heel is going to move away from my hips. And I'm going to come into warrior two position. So I need to spread a little bit wider so that my knee does not go in front of my ankle. That's critical. For warrior, you can have either your heel lined up with the arch of your foot or your heel lined up with the opposite heel. Opposite heel to heel gives you a little more room in the hips. All right, so we're going to spread our arms, really engage those muscles. Pull the muscles to the bone. And we're going to let our feet go out, but we're going to engage our core so that it's almost like we're bringing our thighs together. It's an energetic action. And we're not going to lean forward. We're not going to lean back. Whoa, that throws me way off balance. We're going to be steady, ready, prepared, right in the middle, not easily set off balance. Looking out over the horizon at what's to come. Nice couple breaths here. One more. Then we're going to clasp our hands together behind our back. You can leave the hands just rest on your sacrum behind you. You're going to take your torso. Your right shoulder is going to be just inside the right knee. We're going to come into humble warrior. And if you'd like, you can lift those shoulders up. Bring the shoulder blades really together on the back. Not necessary though. You're welcome to keep them down here. One more breath. We don't ever want to hold our breath in yoga. Then we're going to lift ourselves back up, come through warrior two, and then we're going to let the back hand rest on the back thigh and lift up to exalted warrior. You made it through the battle. You're victorious. Nice. Back through warrior two, hands to the hips. Bring your toes forward again. May have to adjust the feet just a little bit. Bend the knees, coming into that wide-legged forward fold again. Now, if you like, you might be opened up enough to place your block there and then rest the top of your head on it while holding the ankles. Really trying to tip from the pelvis. If you don't need the block and can put your head right on the floor, that's fine too. If you just want your hands on the floor, that's fine too. That's what I like about yoga. Everything is just fine. So long as you're doing it in a safe way, it's your practice. Bend the knees a little bit, move your block out of the way, come on up to standing, and we're going to do that whole process over on the left side. So left toes point away from your hips. Right heel moves away from the hips. We're going to bend that front knee. Bring our arms up into warrior pose, muscles engaged. Head right over hips, torso perpendicular to the floor. Breathing. Nice. Interlace the fingers behind your back. See if you can alternate the lacing, if you know what I mean. If you don't, it's okay, but it's good to alternate. Bending that front knee, taking my torso down along my thigh, going nice and low, and then if I want to, I can bring my clasped hands towards the ceiling, breathing, keeping the bend in that front knee. One more breath. Hands back down. Lift the torso. Coming through warrior two. Feeling a little heat right here. And then let the back hand rest on the back thigh and exalt the warrior. Take that front knee a little deeper. Nice. Coming back up into standing. Now, we have a couple of, well, I got ahead of myself. Hold on. Now, we're going to come to standing. Have your chair ready. If you're perfectly comfortable going into warrior three without the chair, that's fine. I normally don't have any trouble, but I'm going to be honest, I'm on a carpet and it makes it a little bit harder to balance. So there's a couple different ways we can go into warrior three. We could stand like we're getting ready to go into a warrior one, take our leg back, drop that back heel, come into our warrior one pose, and then lift gently forward. And I take my chair out with me as I go. Now my chair is butted up against the wall, and I'm just kind of using the chair for stability. My back leg, my torso is doing the work. My belly's engaged, my tailbone's going towards my back heel. Okay, we got one side. And on the other side, we're going to do it in a different way, and you can see which one you like better for the future. So I'm going to stand steady. And for this one, I'm going to take my arms out to the side first and then take them forward. If I was teaching my kids at school, where I normally work, I would call this airplane pose. And I would bring, this time we're on the left, we're standing on the right, we're going to lift the left knee forward. And as I lean my torso forward, I'm taking my knee down towards the floor and then extending it. Whoops, I'm cheating, I got the couch there. Extending it behind me. It's not really cheating, you're welcome to try it. And then, if I'm good there, I can take my arms forward and come into full out warrior 3 here. If I'm feeling very steady, I can push that chair away and not really use it. Nice. That's a hard pose. If you want to keep practicing it, be sure that your tailbone is going towards your heels. Your belly muscles are really engaged to support your back. You can try that a couple of more times. See how you do with your balance. If you are comfortable with an inversion, like a forearm stand or a box pose, you can do that. It's hard for me with my setup here. Or if you're like, holy cow, Becky, I need a rest, you could go to a wall and put your hip up against the wall and then kind of lay to your back and swing your legs up to rest on the wall. Now, my chair is going to move, so I'm just going to pretend the wall is there and do my inversion here. This is really good. Gets the blood flowing towards the heart instead of the heart having to work to pump the blood back up from the extremities. It gives your heart a little rest here. It's a very nice hamstring stretch. Some of you might find this a little bit excessive, in which case move your hips away from the wall some. I'm going to come into seated because it's kind of odd without the wall there. But you can stay here. And when you've had enough of whatever type of inversion you chose, you can come on back to your mat. I'm going to give you just a minute or so, and then we'll go on with our practice. You're doing a good job, everybody. All right, let's go ahead and finish up whatever position you're in and come on back to your mat, back to the recording. If you're in a standing position, let's just circle sweep your arms up, bending the knees over into a forward fold, and then we're going to come down to the mat and find ourselves in a table position. And from here, just to kind of open things up, take your knees a little bit wider than your hips, and we're just going to circle around. That can be very hard on the hips. A lot of strenuous work, especially for that warrior 3 position. And then go in the other direction. Nice. All right. Then let's find our way to a seated position. If you'd like the blanket, that's good. I'm trying to get you the best angle, so forgive me. All right, I'm going to sit up on my mat if I like. I'm going to extend my legs, flex my feet, and take my torso as long as it will go. The head is just an extension of the spine, no leaning forward or back. Nice straight posture. I'm going to take my right leg and I'm going to place my foot either right up to the inside of my to my calf, or I'm going to lift it up and place it on the outside of my calf. The whole surface of my foot is touching and engaged on the ground. My extended leg is flexed. The toes are coming back towards me. First thing we're going to do is take our right hand on our right knee, And we're going to take our left hand and open it up behind us. Breathing in, lifting through the spine, and looking back behind you. This is an open twist. If you'd like to put the elbow inside the right knee, that's fine too. You can get a little leverage there by pressing into the right knee. This kind of a twist is a little gentler on the back if you have any back issues. So if you'd like to repeat that, go right ahead. Or for the rest of you, you can bring your left hand outside of your right knee, take the right hand behind you, extend that spine, and then twist to look behind you. And if you want to take it just a little bit farther, you can take the left elbow outside of the right knee. This is a little harder on the spine. I tend to be careful here because I have osteoporosis and I really am cautious with my back. Breathing and releasing. We're starting to wind down now. Catch your breath. Coming back towards center. Extend those legs straight. Flex the feet towards you and really extend the spine up. Then we're going to take the left foot, either place it just inside of the calf or lift it and place it on the outside of the calf. Important is that the whole sole of your foot is pressing down evenly into your mat. The right toes are flexed back towards me, and we'll do the open twist first. So same arm as knee. I'm going to either hold that left knee with my left hand and take my right hand behind me and open it up, being sure to breathe and extend that spine. Or I can take my left elbow inside my left knee for a little bit of leverage and maybe be able to twist a little bit farther. Breathing here. One more. And then coming back towards center, and we're going to do the closed twist. So sometimes I have to just push my belly aside. With opposite hand, grabbing either the knee or taking the elbow outside of the knee, lifting and looking behind. Always lift before you twist. Expand before you twist. Breathing here. You've done a nice practice. You might have felt like you were in a battle with some of those warrior poses, but you stuck with it. You persevered, and you got through to the other side. We're getting to the calm, peaceful state now. Good job. Coming back towards center, we're going to work a little modified boat pose to work our tummy a little bit. Mine needs some work with all this time at home. So once again, I do the modified version because of my spine. So if you are comfortable with full out boat pose, feel free to go there. I will do the modified version. So I'm going to have my feet planted on the floor, my knees up towards the ceiling. My back is extended and straight. Now I could put my hands out and then tip back onto my tailbone, or I can use my hands for a little bit of support and bring my shins parallel to the floor. I'm really not trying to round, or I'm trying not to round my back. I want my spine extended. That's critical. So I can unhook my hands, and I'm going to slowly, with my belly engaged, pubic bone, all those muscles engaged, and slowly lowering down to the floor. Nice, everybody. From here, we're going to do a bridge pose. So I like the Anyasara style. I'm going to plant my feet on the floor. My knees are going to go up towards the ceiling. My feet are hips width distance apart, so they're right behind, or in front of, I guess, my sits bones. I'm going to press my upper arms into the mat and really bring my shoulder blades together on my back. My palms are parallel, facing each other. I'm a little bit on the back of my head, chin tilted up just a little bit to protect my back. And then I'm going to engage my glutes, my thighs, my belly, and I'm going to lift my chest and my hips off the floor, bringing my chest towards my chin. Engage. Walk my shoulder blades a little bit closer together. I am taking my knees away from my chest, from my hip bones. And I'm trying to keep my thighs parallel, not letting my knees splay out to the side. And I'm breathing. And I'm building strength. And whatever battle I fought, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it flow right under the bridge and move on. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to continue to fight it. One more breath and lower back down. If you felt like your knees were splaying open a little bit, this is a good trick. Take your block or your box and hold it between your knees as we go up for our second bridge. Bring those shoulder blades together, engage. Tailbone goes towards your heels. Belly is engaged. Support the back and lift. We're going to do this and then one more. We're going to hold it. Building strength, building perseverance. Building strong muscles. Okay, lower back down. How did that feel with the block? I like it. It almost makes it easier for me than having to do it, on my own. And then lift one more time. We're winding down, people. Getting to the peace and contentment stage. Nice and calm. And lower on back down. That felt good. We're going to widen our feet. Wider. That's wider, a little wider than our mat. We're going to take both knees over to the right, and then we're going to bring them back through center, both knees over to the left. So take it nice and slow. Keep your belly button, I keep my hand there just to help me remember, as stable as possible. We're done with the work part. We're just bringing our body back into balance, hopefully bringing the breath, the body, and the mind into alignment. We might have forgotten a few times as we were deep in the practice, but now we remember. That's why we practice yoga, so that we don't get the idea we've accomplished it and then we can quit. It's something that we kind of have to constantly practice and bring our mind, body, and breath back into alignment. It's a lifelong practice. And one more to that side. Take a nice, long, full body stretch. Really push the heels away, interlace the fingers, and lift them above your head. All of the muscles fully engaged. Feel your strength. Feel your engagement. Nice. And then I'm going to come up to seated in just a moment, but you're going to just let your hands and your arms fall out to the side, palms up towards the ceiling. Let the legs relax, the feet splay open, and make any adjustments that you need for your Shavasana pose, the corpse pose, the relaxation pose. This is where we absorb everything that we learned in our yoga practice. So you focus there on your breath. I'm going to come up to seated and guide you. Focusing once again on your breath. Watch it begin down in your belly, deep, deep down in the belly. Travel up past the navel center, into the lungs, expanding the lungs fully. Not forcefully, just fully. Let it rest at the top, under the shoulder, and then let it slowly release, emptying out the lungs.
taking it past the navel center and pushing that last little bit out, down by the pubic bone. Repeat that. Steady and focused. Take the breath into all your extremities. Nurture them with the prana, with the life energy. Let them cleanse every cell of your body, and then let it wash it away. Any toxic energy, feelings, worries, fears. You've made the commitment to plan and to practice so that you can be prepared for the battles in life. Let the calmness and the peace wash over you. And just listen gently. I have a poem to read to you. Sometimes we feel like we're too busy to do our practice, to take time for ourselves. And this poem really hit the spot. It's by B. Oakman. I lied and said I was busy. I was busy, but not in a way most people understand. I was busy taking deeper breaths. I was busy silencing irrational thoughts. I was busy calming a racing heart. I was busy telling myself I am okay. Sometimes this is my busy, and I will not apologize for it. Never apologize for being the warrior, having a warrior heart. And showing your strength. Continue your breathing. A few more inhales and a few more exhales. Letting your body fully relax so that you can assimilate this feeling and carry it with you off the mat. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, deepening the breath, becoming aware of the sounds and the movements around you. Bend your knees, bring them in towards your chest, and give yourself a big hug. Rolling to one side or the other, and just rest there for a moment, as a soldier must rest after the battle. Re-energizing for the next bump in the road, the next crisis to cross your path. You'll be ready. No need to worry about that. Slowly pushing yourself up to a seated position. If you have your eyes closed, you can keep them there for a moment, or just have a soft focus down towards your mat. Bringing your hands to heart center. The light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thanks for joining me in my practice tonight. I hope you enjoyed it.